evening, Niner fans. It is Friday night, and guess what? We have a game on Sunday against the Seattle Seahawks, the dreaded rivals from the Emerald City. How are we doing? Happy Friday night. How are we feeling? I am hyped up. I'm going to make this show, try to make it about 30, 40 minutes as quick as we can because I'm going to a event with my daughter. We're going to Christmas in the park, but we'll still have a good show today. We're going to have a great night. Before we get into it, I want to say shout out to Gold Bar Whiskey, the official sponsor of our SF 49ers. We did some work with them today. Super excited. We got a big promotion coming up. I got a lot of things in the future planned with these guys, but shout out to Gold Bar Whiskey, the official whiskey of the San Francisco 49ers. Check this out. My boy Sam hooked me up today, and he gave me this new whiskey. And listen. Look at the bottle is dope. This is the Joe Montana Gold Bar Whiskey. Like, this is dope. I'm not just saying this. Like, I was like, dang, man, that was awesome gesture for him. But I have given many people Gold Bar Whiskey for like a gift, and it's always a good gift. So holiday season, if you can't think of what to get someone, or you're going to like a holiday party, go get some Gold Bar Whiskey. You'll be like the talk of the town because it's something different. Everybody likes, whiskey and stuff, and it's a good gift. So Gold Bar Whiskey, they have a website. They have a distillery in San Francisco. They're doing big things. I'm trying to help them out. They're trying to help me out. So shout out to Gold Bar Whiskey. Honestly, they are great people, and I'm happy to have them as a sponsor. So we got new sponsors. We are cooking, man. The Niners are cooking, and we got some more bird on the table this weekend. So shout out to the faithful. I couldn't be doing all this great stuff, sponsors and everything, without all of you. So if I'm up, you guys are up. Thank you. I've had a lot of opportunities coming at me lately, and it's all because of how awesome all the supporters of our SF 49ers brand is, man. Like, I know I put in the work, but you guys support it. You don't have to, and I truly appreciate it. So how about them Niners, baby? What's going on? How are we feeling? CJ Gray, Ryan McDonald, Danny, throwback, 49ers throwback. My man, Hey Peter Parker says 2 more sleeps. Deb Topio, what's good? Hey Peter Parker, happy Friday night, says Danny. Miguel says, what's up? What's up, Miguel? Let's go, man. Diego, salute. Let's go, baby. We feeling good? We got a big game, man. Ryan, I appreciate you. I appreciate every single one of you guys. Trust me, you don't believe. You wouldn't know how much I appreciate you guys. Like, I'm trying to keep on working and getting this channel and the RSF 49ers brand growing, because this is my passion, man. Like, I know I have a good job, a good career, but this is my passion. So playoff modes, this CJ Gray, we are marching to the playoffs. And the great thing about this weekend, if the 49ers stand on business, handle business, whatever you want to talk about, we, the 49ers, have a chance to clinch a playoff spot if Green Bay or Minnesota lose. But before all that, the 49ers need to make sure they win this game because they need to stay up close with the Philadelphia Eagles. Hopefully the Eagles lose to Dallas, but the 49ers can clinch a playoff spot, man. Ryan says he's feeling great, got a new job, and getting my life on. Yo, shout out to Ryan for getting a new job, getting your life on track. I salute you, man. That's dope, man. Like, that's great. Like, I know we talk about Niners, but it's good to see people, doing good things and having a good time in life and prospering. And that's the thing, man, because life is tough. We've all went through roadblocks, so I'm glad that you're doing well, man. That's what it's all about, man. What a long week, but let's go football time, relax time, says Victor. Absolutely. Dana says, I heard Geno might not play. Is that true? Or mind games by Seattle? Yeah, let's talk about that because that should probably be the big story of this game, right? Seattle, San Francisco. Geno Smith is questionable. Let's bring up all the news because I want to pull up all the facts because the 49ers, they might not have to play against Geno Smith. So earlier today, Pete Carroll, he said a couple things. So the Seahawks officially listed Geno Smith as questionable, okay? He's questionable to play against the San Francisco 49ers. He has a groin injury. Questionable could mean, yeah, you might play, you might not. It's, usually a good sign that you could play, but he's been banged up, man. So Pete Carroll, this is from Field Yates, said he's non-committal on Geno Smith starting Sunday. Says the team added Sean Mannion to the practice squad earlier today for insurance. So the 49ers are going into this game, and they don't know if they're going to play against Geno Smith. So they added Sean Mannion for a backup. If he can't play, you got to have a backup to the guy that's going to start. So it sounds like Drew Lock might start. So it might not be Geno Smith. It might be Drew Lock who starts, and then his backup would be Sean Mannion. So Pete Carroll, he was non-committal today. So this is what Pete Carroll said today. I'm going to pull up the video, and you guys can listen to it. So,
with Geno, he just tweaked his foot a little bit yesterday. Just got stumbled over something. Do you think he's going to play? We'll see. The rest of it today. Bringing back Sean Mannion, just obviously a guy who knows your system and stuff like that. Amazing recall. He can jump back in. He's been with another team here just a couple weeks ago with Minnesota. He's a very special football player that he has so much command. So it really is a benefit for us. How do you feel about Drew if Drew has to start? He's been waiting for this opportunity and looking forward to it and preparing for it. If this comes to pass, he is as ready as he can get. Excited about him getting a chance to play in shape. I know for him, he's been really disciplined about the way he focuses every week to make himself known and believe that he's going to be playing, as that guy has to do. And so if it changes this week, we'll see the benefits of all of his hard work to focus like you need to focus to maintain what it takes to play this game. Is this one of those things then you'll need to see Geno work out before the game?
So, he's being non-committal. Obviously, he's not going to give you a 100% answer. Pete Carroll is low-key not going to give the 49ers a final answer. He's questionable. Sean Mannion, he talks good things about him. Oh, he knows the system, blah, 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 blah. Coach talk for, if he plays, whatever, he'll be in the game, and hopefully he can not make mistakes. So Drew Lock, he's not a lock to play, but he has a chance to play. Geno Smith got a groin injury, but surely this is one of the biggest games for the Seahawks. This is the biggest game for the Seattle Seahawks. At 6-6, they need a must-win game. So Pete Carroll, he's going to be non-committal. So I think part of that definitely is a mind game. They're not going to give Kyle Shanahan, the 49ers, any advantage. They're not going to tell him anything. They want to make the 49ers guess and figure out what are they going to do at quarterback. I don't know. So Geno Smith is not going to play. 50-50 chance maybe, right? Questionable. So we'll see what happens. The other big news of the day for the Seahawks, let's talk about the Seahawks because their injury report came up first today. So Geno Smith, groin questionable. Kenneth Walker, running back, is questionable with an oblique injury. That's not a good injury, but he might play. We don't know. And then their backup running back, rookie, Zach Charbonnet, has a knee injury, and he's also questionable. So the 49ers might go into this game against the Seahawks the Seahawks are going to be banged up. So Geno Smith, questionable. Kenneth Walker, questionable. And Zach Charbonnet is questionable for Sunday. There's actually also 3 more players that are questionable for the Seahawks. Like, they are battered and bruised up. Let me tell you, there's 3 more players that are also questionable. So defensive tackle Jaron Reed, wide receiver D. Eskridge has a rib injury, and linebacker Jordan Brooks has an ankle injury, and cornerback Trey Brown is also questionable with the heel injury. So Jared Reed, D. Eskridge, Jordan Brooks, and Trey Brown. Man, a lot of players are banged up for the Seahawks. So they're coming into this game just banged up. So that tells you this is the point of the season where players are just getting, battered and beat up. And it's point of the season where you have to really make sure you have good depth, great, players that are backups. And that's what the 49ers have done. Like, they went and signed Logan Ryan. They got Ken Harris. Like, they've had injuries, but they have good depth. Now you have Isaiah Oliver, who was a starter as a backup. You have more depth on the 49ers. They have Oren Burks. They have a lot of players that could come in and step up, and they're quality players. So, yes, you're going to lose some players as the season goes on, but it's all about having good quality. And the 49ers have proven that they have very, very, very good quality. So let's take a look at some of the comments here. Let's see. My man, 49ers Throwback, says, I don't believe what Pete Carroll says. He's kind of throwing cap at him. I think you're right, 49ers Throwback. Like, he didn't really seem he just didn't seem like he was selling us here, like Sean Betty, and you know what I mean. Like we'll see what happens. I don't believe a word Pete Carroll says. I think he's trying to make the 49ers guess and keep them on their toes. So I agree with you. My man Victor says, you know how the 49ers are with backups. Let's not talk about that. The 49ers actually have played worse against backup quarterbacks overall. They play down to their opponents sometimes, right? Colt McCoy is all I got to say. This man, Colt McCoy, dogged us. So you can't take anybody lightly. I know it's Sean Mannion. I know it's Drew Lock. Just because we sit here and laugh, you can't take anybody lightly. Like, you never know. Look at Brock Purdy. When he came in, nobody thought Brock Purdy would be Brock Purdy. Now, I'm not saying Sean Mannion is going to be a great player or Drew Lock, whatever. They've had their opportunities, but you just never know. Any given Sunday, any quarterback can step up. You can't take him lightly. I mean, Geno Smith, for years, he was a backup, and then he stepped in last year and was like, wow, Geno Smith. So every quarterback has the ability to play, and if they have a good day, man, you just never know. So my man Peter Parker says, Geno, Drew Lock, same outcome. Man, gotta love it. Gotta love it. So, yeah, we'll see. Ethan says, I hope the team is focused after that huge win. We don't need another 3-game skid. That's a good point, Ethan. I was talking to somebody today about that, and the 49ers, I feel like this week we just really haven't even talked much about the Seahawks game. You know what I mean? Just in terms of content creators and the media, people have been still talking about that Eagles game. Now, Fred Warner says he knows you can't, lose focus. You have to stay focused on Seahawks. He says, look, man, we got to stop worried about Philly. We did our business. We won. We got to move on. Like he said that earlier in this week, because he said after that Dallas game, we just kind of were in this high all week. I feel like myself, I've been on that high. So hopefully the players aren't in that mood. And I think they know they have to really move on. Yeah, you beat Philly. Okay, great. Good job. Here's your flowers. Guess what? It's a new week. So I do hope that they're focused and ready to go and beat Seattle, because you don't want to get stymied. You don't want to fall into another little losing streak, especially at this point of the season. This is the money part of the season. This is the groove right before the playoffs. You have to play your best football. You have to be geared up. You have to be rocking and rolling. So I agree with you. I hope they're focused and can handle business. I know the Seahawks are banged up, and we're sitting here like, oh man, they're coming into Levi's banged up. Doesn't matter. That's when you start losing focus. That's when you sleep on people. That's when it becomes a trap game. When you start sitting there saying, oh, look, Kenneth Walker's hurt. Oh, Zach Charbonnet's hurt. Oh, look, so-and-so's hurt. Geno Smith might not play. This is going to be a cakewalk. That's when you start losing games. When you take the foot off your gas mentally, you start losing. And that's what the 49ers have been doing, when they were losing, is they lost that focus. They lost that edge. But lately, the 49ers have been so aggressive, foot on the gas. They are not letting go, and that's what they need. Aggressive championship mentality. I absolutely loved how Kyle Shanahan has called the game over the last couple of weeks. Aggressive, foot down the throat, score. That's what the 49ers need to come up and keep on doing. So Ryan says, I don't feel like rooting for the Cowgirls and Raiders this week. I don't either, but they both got to win this week. My man 49ers Throwback, shout out to 49ers Throwback. He says, the 49ers will be ready regardless. They are desperate. I wouldn't say they're desperate, but I think they're just locked in. They're on a heater. They are the best team in the league. After beating Philadelphia, they know they're untouchable. When they're healthy and they're clicking right, I think they know this team is so good. They have what it takes to win a Super Bowl. They got a quarterback, finally, a franchise quarterback that they trust. They have just weapons everywhere. We talked about, this stat was crazy to me today. We posted this, and this was a very revelational. I don't even know what the word. Just an amazing stat. Let me pull this stat up. So, this was from Doug Clausen. He tweeted this out. The 49ers are on pace to be the first team with a 4,000-yard passer and 4 players with 1,000 scrimmage yards. CMC, Debo, Ayuk, and Kittle since the 2004 Colts with Peyton Manning, Edgerrin James, Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, and Brandon Stokely. Manning won the MVP. I remember watching those teams. I think, I was in college, and I just was like, oh, this Colts team is sick. They're stacked. Manning was just dropping it to these guys. And the thing, Manning wasn't throwing deep. He did every once in a while. Edgerrin James, would run the ball, set up the play action, just like Christian McCaffrey, and every once in a while, boom, Marvin Harrison, up deep, over the top. Boom, Reggie Wayne, boom. Reggie Wayne had that little slant and go. Marvin Harrison had the little slant and glow. Yak brother kind of mentality. And then Brandon Stokely was crazy in the slot, and every once in a while he would just take off and take like a deep play, the deep threat. But it wasn't like every play Manning was throwing deep. He kind of was one of those quarterbacks that would just drop it 10 yards, drop it 5 yards. Receivers would do the work. Kind of like Brock Purdy. And Brock Purdy's utilizing his weapons. He knows he has great skill set players around him. 4 players that can get 1,000 yards of scrimmage. It's crazy, man. We haven't seen this since 2004. It's a golden offense. This 49ers team is amazing. And Brock Purdy is running this offense smoothly. So, yeah, the 49ers have a great offense, and they know they got to stay the course. And I love it, man. I absolutely love what they're doing. I love what they're doing right now. And I think that's why they know they're ready. This team is stacked. This team is solid. This team has a championship caliber team. And like that is uncanny for a team to have a 4,000-yard passer and 4 players that can have 1,000 yards from scrimmage. This is crazy, man. Love what they're doing. Kyle Shanahan, man, is just in his bag this season. I love it. Appreciate you, Victor. Let's go. Let's take a look at some more questions up here. Mooney said it best. They got to stay humble, says VZ. Yeah, they can't get ahead of themselves because right now they still are not the number 1 seed, but they can keep on winning. I think they can win out, but it also starts this week. Like, I hate to be cliche, but it's really week to week. It's a week to week process. Every game counts, and every week you got to stay focused on the prize at hand. So let's see. Ryan says, with that many injuries for Seattle, it sounds like a Christmas list. Yikes, and not a good Christmas list. It might get ugly for the Seahawks, says Forktail Devil. Sorry, that's what it was. Depressed Niners fan says, hi, Raj. Sorry I'm late. Doing my comm paper, but I'm always find time to stream your live. I appreciate you. Don't want you to get, too much trouble. If you got to leave, you got to leave. But I appreciate you for hopping in and supporting the channel. Hopefully your paper goes well. Trust me, I know a thing or two about school. I took a lot of school in all my days, and I know how stressful it is to do in tests and finals. My daughter, she's got finals coming up for her first sophomore season, man. I know how it's stressful. She's been stressed out. So glad that you're on the stream, but take care of that business, handle your homework, and take care of all that stuff. But appreciate you for hopping in, man. My man Victor says, as a Niner fan, who do you want to win, the Eagles or Cowboys? As a Niner fan, I want the Cowboys to win. And I hate saying that. I don't want the Eagles to win because I want the 49ers to have a chance at the number 1 seed. And if the 49ers see the Eagles lose again this weekend, it would be great for them, right? Because they have a 1-to-1 matchup win over them. They got a 1-to-1 matchup win over the Cowboys, and it's pretty much what the 49ers want is to see the Cowboys beat the Eagles. And I hate to say we're kind of rooting for the Cowboys, but we're kind of rooting for the Cowboys because if you want the 49ers to get the number 1 seed, you got to hope that Philly loses this next game so the 49ers can stay on par with them. And the 49ers got to handle their own business too. Like, they have to beat Seattle. And then after that, they got to stay on ground and beat the Cardinals, which we should beat the Cardinals, which you can't sit here and guarantee a win. Then they got to beat the Ravens, which is going to be the biggest test of the rest of the season. Then they got Washington, and then they finish out with the Rams. And the Rams are playing really good football right now. They're 6-6, so it's not a guaranteed win, although we know the 49ers dominate those guys. Like, I want it to be last week of the season, 49ers, Rams. If the 49ers win this game, they clinch the number 1 seed. Like, that's what I want. You know what I mean? But we'll see. 1 week at a time. I do want to see the Cowboys win this weekend, Victor. Ryan says, I was worried about the Mexico game last season when Colt McCoy was starting. Low-key, I was too, but the 49ers dominated them. Oh, man. I felt bad for Colt McCoy. I remember I was watching the Showtime. Was it? I think they had like I don't know if it was, I don't remember what show it was. It was one of their NFL shows they have, and there was like behind the scenes of the Cardinals. Was it? Oh God, what was that one show? It's one of those football shows that they do a documentary on. And I just remember like Colt McCoy was sitting there by himself. He was the only one studying film. Kyler wasn't helping him. Like, he had no communication. Like, he was sad on the sidelines. The coach was there with him. I kind of felt bad for Colt McCoy. Like, he got no help from Kyler Murray last year. But yeah, Niners took care of business. So My man Fork says, do you think Odom's absence will significantly hurt the special teams unit? So Odom was a big impact, on special teams, and Kyle Shanahan talked all about it. He wasn't a starter on the defense in the secondary. He wasn't a starting safety, but he had a really big impact on the special teams unit, and I think that's why they brought in Logan Ryan. That's why they brought in Eric Harris. I feel like he does have a big hole that he created with his injury, but I like the addition of Logan Ryan. I really like the addition of Eric Harris, and they're versatile. They can play special teams. They can start if they need to. They don't need to start. They need to be solid special teams guys because Odom was great at tackling. Like he's a very good tackler, and that's why he was a good special teamer. Because if you got a guy running at you and you got Odom right there, he's going to bring him down no matter what. So he was great, and I think that definitely is an impact, and that's why I think they brought in Logan Ryan and Eric Harris over the last 2 weeks. Obviously, they needed depth, but those two guys can really play at a high level at special teams. And Logan Ryan, man, shout out to this guy. He tweeted out earlier today like chasing that third championship. He wants a third championship. He's a 2-time Super Bowl champ. Yesterday we talked about it, how he helped, or when Ty Davis Price got brought back to the roster, after 2 days of being cut for Logan Ryan. Logan Ryan says, "All right, man, here, have your locker back. Here, have your number back." He gave TDP his jersey number back. He gave him his locker back. Like that's a stand-up guy, man. That's a quality guy. So he didn't have to. He could have said, "No, this is my number, buddy. You got cut for me." But class act, good leader. I like the guy so far. So my man Ryan says, "Feels weird. We're rooting for the Cowboys and Raiders this week. It feels very weird." My man Hey Peter Parker says, "After what we did to Philly, this is the time of the season to start peaking going into the playoffs." Absolutely. This is the time where you have to play hot, good. You have to be on P's and Q's. Like the hotter you are, the better it is during this time of the season. Last month, going into the beginning of November after the bye week, Brandon Ayuk said this is the time. November and December is when the dogs play football, when the real dogs play football. Because, yeah, you can win early in the season and pad your record. But if you can't win right now, when it's nitty gritty, when you're tired, when you've been playing for weeks on weeks, if you can't win now, you're not going to win in the playoffs. This is where real teams separate themselves. Can you still be as impressive at the end of the season as you were at the beginning? Do you still have the energy? Are you still the bully? Are you still physical after 17 weeks of a grinded out, knocked down, drag out battle every single week after car wreck? Like George Kittle calls these games a car wreck. Like, are you still at the high energy level that you were as you at the beginning of the season? When you're fresh, you have the energy, you're hyped up, you're loose. Are you still a good team? And that's what this month of football, these last 2 months of football going into the playoffs is, because the playoffs, only the real men survive. And that's what it is, man. So good comment, Peter Parker. Yeah. My man says, Ryan says, we got overconfident after beating Dallas. Let's not do that again. Absolutely. We talked about that. We mentioned it. Fred Warner said, you can't be overconfident. You got to stand on ground. Every week is a new week, and you can't overthink it. You can't look to the next week, and you can't take anybody lightly. So did anyone hear Joy Taylor said about Brock needing a time machine to be an MVP? She's straight hating. I didn't see that. I missed that one. I don't know if it was yesterday or today, but a lot of people are hating on Brock. He's silencing the haters. Like, I don't know if you guys saw that video. We posted it on the YouTube Shorts, but NFL posted it, how he's silencing the haters. Like, that video was cold, man. Oh, God. Like, people are starting to realize that Brock is shutting people up. Like, I don't know if you guys saw the thread from RG3 and Kurt Warner. Like, I want to pull this up. I love it. I should post it later today, tonight. This might be one more post I post tonight, because this was great. This was a phenomenal. So Robert Griffin III says, Brock Purdy's height was a question coming out of college. Can he see over the middle of the field? Against the Eagles, Purdy had 8 completions down the middle for 156 yards. A quarterback's height doesn't matter. It's all about how you manipulate the defense and create space for your quarterback to see. Brock Purdy is a master manipulator of the space. He's accurate. He's so good in making sure he can move the ball down the field and anticipate throws. You saw that or the Christian McCaffrey throw this week against Philly. That play was insane. Christian McCaffrey didn't even turn his head yet, and Brock already throws it, and he knows where he's going to be. As soon as the ball comes down, it's already in CMC's. He's like, wow, he levitated to him. So that You got to love it. There are people in the media that are showing, like, look, this guy is for real. They see it. And then you had Kurt Warner. He said, say it louder for those in the back. If you can't see it, if you can see it, you can see it. He says it's as simple as that. I've seen short and tall guys that can't see, and I've seen short and tall guys that can see. Coaches, find yourself a guy that can see it. Like, these guys are finally trying to go out there and stop the narrative that the Nick Wrights of the world are trying to push. There's people that don't want to see Brock Purdy succeed because they've been so negative. They've been so wrong that they want to keep pushing their stupid agenda. And I love that guys like Kurt Warner and Robert Griffin III, who've been very successful quarterbacks. Robert Griffin, his career got cut short, unfortunately, because of injuries. But in the beginning of his career, such a star, man. And Kurt Warner, Hall of Famer. Like that guy, like those two guys backing up Brock Purdy. I love it, man. Absolutely love it. So it's good to see Brock starting to get some quality flowers from the media. I mean, there's still going to be haters, but that NFL video they dropped today, I was like, oh, that's so cold. Bro, there's a part in the video, like, my favorite clip is when, like, Brock's just, like, they got a video, they clipped him where he's, like, where he spits on the ground. I was like, damn, I didn't even see that in the game. Like, that's a moment you don't see in the game. I was like, he is swagging, man. Like, Brock is so confident. This young man is so calm, just spitting on the field, going out there, tearing up Philly. Like, yo, I'm going to spit on your stadium. I'm going to spit in your stadium, and I'm going to carve you up for 4 touchdowns. What a dog, man. I love Brock Purdy. Sheesh. Snags, I appreciate it. I know. We all know we are. Oh, throwback. Let's talk. I'm so glad someone brought this up. We posted about this today. So, yeah, let's talk about this. So, I know it's Seattle week, but let's talk about this, guys. Former linebacker Seth Joyner. Who? Seth Joyner. He took to Twitter. He had some Twitter fingers. He had some extra time on his hand. And he had a personal vendetta against Nick Bosa's his blueprint comment. We heard what Nick Bosa said yesterday about, that the Cowboys, have a blueprint ahead of them from the 49ers, right? So let's talk about this. This guy. Who's Seth Joyner? He's a former linebacker of the Eagles. Apparently, he's a 3-time Pro Bowler and a Super Bowl champion, according to his Twitter. But I never heard of him. Anyways, yesterday, Nick Bosa says that Jalen Hurts has been figured out. We put the blueprint out there. Hopefully, the Cowboys watch the tape, right? We saw this video. We posted about it. You guys have seen all the clips. And then Seth Joyner says, bruh, Lane Johnson owned you all day. Why are you talking? Because he won. The 49ers won. That's why he's talking. Hurts had an off day. An off day? No, he got cooked by the 49ers defense. He couldn't throw the ball. He couldn't run the ball. But, according to Seth Joyner, he had an off day. Bro, Jalen Hurts had a concussion. It wasn't an off day. The 49ers battered him up. He got outplayed by Brock Purdy. But, okay, he says, you did little to create a blueprint. Peanut butter and crackers when they hung 31 points on that last year. It was last year when the 49ers didn't have their quarterback. So this guy's crying out of his mind. He says, see you down the road. We'll see if that blueprint works. Think Debo, CMC, and Purdy. Yeah, Purdy wasn't in the game last year. Yet you want to talk about hanging 31 points on the 49ers? Their quarterback wasn't even healthy. So, yeah. And then he, in the comments, because people were like getting at him, he goes, you analytic geeks, GTF off my feed with 8 pressures, because Nick Bosa had 8 pressures. He says, that's 8 almost. He said, stupidest stat in defensive football. You can pressure a quarterback. He steps away and tosses an 80-yard touchdown. Pressure, another trophy stat. Okay, but here's the thing, Seth Joyner. The 49ers pressured Jalen Hurts, and he didn't have an 80-yard touchdown. The pressure worked because this was the first team to actually put the pressure on Jalen Hurts and shut him down, stop him. He closed his lanes. He couldn't run anywhere. He couldn't throw it deep. The pressure, it gave the secondary time to stick their receivers. Mooney Ward, Ambry Thomas, Deommodore Lenoir. Because of the pressure up front, it helped them stay on their guy, man-to-man, sticky coverage, and Jalen Hurts had nowhere to throw the ball. So this guy, Seth Joyner, sounds like a hater. he's projecting. I can't believe he's saying this Friday. You had all week to talk, buddy. You had all week to talk. And yes, Nick Bosa and the 49ers, they did put the blueprint out there. And I hope the Cowboys watched it. And I hope the Cowboys beat the Eagles. Seth Joyner's a nobody. Absolutely idiot. Idiotic. The 49ers exposed the Eagles. Exposed the Eagles. I think, let me see how many pressures. I think the 49ers lead the NFL in pressures. Let me pull up the stat because I saw this also from PFF. And I know it's not the greatest stat in the world, but it does show that if you're putting pressure on a quarterback, trust me, they will tell you that it means something, right? So I don't know. Let me find this stat. PFF 49ers. PFF 49ers. There it is. So let's see. The 49ers have generated 303 quarterback pressures this season. First in the NFL. Guess what? The 49ers have been tearing it up on quarterbacks. They can't do much. 303 quarterback pressures. They had 46 on Sunday against the Eagles. Seth Joyner, learn ball. You don't know ball. They don't know ball. When is Drake Jackson coming back? I don't know. See, I haven't heard anything. He's been on the injured reserve list. Honestly, I don't know if he's coming back anytime soon because Randy Gregory has played great. Clelin Ferrell's pretty solid. And Chase Young, he's been playing good too. Like that rotation has been very, very good. So I don't know. Even if Drake Jackson comes back into the lineup, I don't know if he has much of a role, unfortunately. So we'll see. There's no exact word on his time frame coming back. I feel like Kyle might just let him go out there, rehab, and get stronger and stronger because I don't know if he's healthy enough to do much for the 49ers. It's unfortunate for him. He's still young, still have an early career. So we'll see. But Randy Gregory and Chase Young and Clelin Ferrell have played very good together. So I don't know. Let's talk about the 49ers injuries. We talked about the Seahawks injuries. I haven't got to this yet. So the 49ers have ruled out Arik Armstead, who has a knee and a foot injury. Ross Dwelley, obviously, he has the high ankle sprain. And wide receiver Ray McLeod, who has the rib injury. They've been ruled out for Sunday against Seattle. Cornerback Darrell Luter Jr., who has the hamstring. Spencer Burford, who has the knee injury. And Elijah Mitchell, who has the knee injury, are doubtful. So doesn't look like Darrell Luter is going to play another game. Spencer Burford is also injured. Doesn't look like he's going to play. John Feliciano is probably going to play. And Elijah Mitchell's probably not going to play this game. So that means Jordan Mason goes up to the number 2 role. And guess what? TDP, yeah, you know me, will be elevated tomorrow, most likely, to the active roster from the practice squad. Days after he got cut, he came back, and tomorrow I would probably bet $100 that he will get activated from the practice squad onto the active roster. What a week it has been for Ty Davis Price. Cut on Tuesday, brought back on Thursday, and elevated to the active roster again on Saturday. That's my prediction for tomorrow. I could already see it's going to happen. What a week for TDP, but it's unfortunate for Elijah Mitchell that he cannot stay healthy, man. But good player. Prayers up to Arik Armstead. I hope he gets better. He will probably miss this week and next week because of the foot and knee injury. Hopefully he's back, but I'd rather him sit out next week against Arizona and get 100% because they're going to need him for the Christmas game against the Ravens. 49ers absolutely need Arik Armstead for the Ravens. So we'll see, guys. We'll see what happens in terms of Arik Armstead, but he is going to be out this week, so that was the big news for the 49ers. But you know what? That means Kalia Davis. That means Javon Kinlaw got to step up. That means Kevin Givens got to step up. So I really like what I saw to Kalia Davis last week. I really liked what I saw with Javon Kinlaw. Those two guys are going to get a lot more action, and that's good for them. I mean, it sucks for Armstead that he's hurt. He was having a Pro Bowl season, but, you know, he's the OG. They respect him. They're going to play hard for him, and they're going to play hard without him. So let him rest up. Let him come back against the Ravens, and, you know, we'll see what happens. But I'm happy that the injuries aren't too significant. It is time of the season where you're banged up. Like we talked about Seattle, got a lot of injuries. The 49ers, they got a little bit of injuries here. You know, but again, the biggest takeaway is the 49ers are very good in terms of depth. They have great depth, guys, and that is a very big key for the 49ers. Even though they got injuries, they got guys that can step in their role. So Feliciano, right, for right guard for Spencer Burford. Arik Armstead is down. You got Kalia Davis and Javon Kinlaw and Kevin Givens. Now, who else they say? Ray McLeod's out. You got Ronnie Bell. You got Debo Samuel. Debo Samuel, my guy, Debo. He's probably going to return more kicks this week, which was amazing for like Debo Samuel, the most unselfish player on the San Francisco 49ers. The most unselfish player on the San Francisco 49ers is Debo Samuel, guys. And he's going to cook some – he's going to cook it up. He's going to cook it up on Sunday. I can't wait to see Debo Samuel against the Eagles. Do you want to know Debo Samuel? Let me pull up these stats. I got this stat ready. Debo Samuel against the Seahawks. Let me see. I know I have it here somewhere. Let me find it. And there it is. Stat News. I love Stat News. This is my favorite stat little page here. So Debo Samuel against the Seahawks. Check this out. Check this out, okay? He's had 5 career games against the Seattle Seahawks, okay? 33 catches in 5 games, 493 yards, and he has scored 4 touchdowns in 5 games against the Seahawks in his career. This man owns the NFC West. He owns the Seahawks. He owns the Eagles. He owns the Rams. This man owns a lot of teams. People always talk down on Debo. This man cooks teams. When he's locked in and healthy, this man cooks teams, man. Like this, I can't look at this. Let me tell you his stats. 2019, November 11th, he had 8 catches, 112 yards against them. December 29th, 2019, he had 5 catches for 102 yards against them. He had 33 rush yards and a touchdown. Let me see. Debo Samuel on October 3rd, 2021, had 8 catches for 156 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had 1 rush against them on, look at this, is crazy. On September 18th, 2022, he had 5 catches for 44 yards. He had 53 rush yards against them. He had like almost 100 total yards all purpose. And then the last time we played him, obviously on Thanksgiving, he had 7 catches, 79 yards. He had the walk-in touchdown, 15 yards rushing. Like this guy owns Seattle, man. Whoo! I love this guy. I love Debo Samuel. C says Debo is low-key a better runner than Ray. We just can't risk getting him injured on speed. And that is the biggest takeaway on, yes, I love that Debo's unselfish, but you're right. You can't risk a star player, a key player on special teams because special teams is tough. That's why a lot of like big-time players don't return kicks, because there is risk because you're getting hit. It's free hits, and you're just taking abuse while you also have to line up and play in the, the regular snaps. And especially for the 49ers, Debo's so important for his, motion and everything he does for this team. So, yeah, I don't want to see Debo get hurt, but, hey, the guy's an unselfish player. I love the guy. He's amazing. He is a great return. Like, he's naturally just a good runner, and his instincts are great. I love him as a return man, but at the same time, I don't, because what you just said, see, is I don't want him to get hurt on special teams. So we're on agreement there. God, he's good at returning. Remember the Green Bay game, right, in the playoffs? Bro was just carrying that. He had the team. The offenses weren't doing anything in that game. I remember he returns a kick, and I mean, he returned a beautiful kick, a lot of yards. He almost broke it. And after that, like, he gets up on the next play. It was like a big play. He run, I think it was like a reverse play, and he's like hobbling. There's like blood coming out of his sock. This guy is such a gamer. He's the heart and soul, and he was limping, and he still did everything he could. Like Debo, man, that's my guy. He is the heart and soul of the 49ers offense. Like, you can't talk enough about Debo, and I'm so happy he won the NFC Offensive Player of the Week. So I think he's going to have a big game this week against the Seattle Seahawks because, again, we just talked about he owns them. Let's see. There's some things. Brandon Ayuk is about 73 yards away from 1,000 yards receiving yards for the second straight season in his career, back-to-back 1,000-yard receiving yards. Pretty cool. Debo Samuel, actually, there is another record that he's On pace to break. Let me pull this one up. Told you I came with all the stats tonight, man. I'm ready to rock. Let me see. Let me pull this up. Let me see. Okay, yes. So Debo Samuel, he has 18 rushing touchdowns for his career. This is the most tied for the most all time by a wide receiver in NFL history. What's up, Val? Let's see. So 18 career rushing touchdowns, right? Tied for the most all time by a wide receiver in NFL history. Shout out to Akash on Twitter. This was his stat, so I want to give him credit. He's one rushing touchdown away from breaking the all time record by Bobby Mitchell. Dude, that's Debo Samuel is going to break a record if he gets one more rushing touchdown. One rushing touchdown, he's going to break the all-time NFL record by rushing touchdowns by a wide receiver. That's incredible. This guy is so good. So, shout out to Debo. Shout out to Brandon Ayuk. 73 yards away from 1,000 yards. These 49ers are so good, man. Locked and loaded. I love this team, man. I love this team. It's so amazing. I'm hyped up, man. I hope he gets it. I hope we get a dub. I want to give you a couple bold predictions. I'm going to wrap up the show here. As I told you, I'm going to try to stay within that 30 to 45-minute window. We're approaching 42 minutes, so I want to wrap it up. Get you some predictions here because it's Prediction Friday. Defensively, man, I feel the 49ers are just going to cook it up. They're going to get 2 interceptions. They're going to get 5 sacks. I got Nick Bosa and Chase Young both getting a sack. I think Javon Kinlaw is going to step up and get another sack in place of Arik Armstead. That's 3. I got Javon Hargrave getting 2 sacks, 5 sacks for the defense. I got Fred Warner getting a pick, and I have Ambry Thomas getting a pick too. He's been playing so good. I don't know if they're going to even want to throw to Mooney Ward. I'm excited to see Mooney Ward and DK Metcalf battle it out round 2 this year. Shout out to DK Metcalf though. He did give Mooney Ward his respect the other night, man. Like that takes a big guy. As much as I hate Seattle and I know we clown on DK, but much respect to him. That's a very class act thing for him to say. He didn't talk any trash. He knew, man. Mooney held them in check, and it was cool to see him, game recognized game. But I think Mooney Ward's going to have another big game against them. But I got Ambry Thomas with the interception. So Ambry, Fred interceptions, 5 sacks by the defense. And I have offensively, Debo is going to go crazy. He'll get a touchdown. He's going to break the record, rushing touchdown. CMC, death taxes, CMC touchdown. He's getting a touchdown. He'll get another 100 yards. CMC is crushing everybody in the rushing title. He is closing in on his first career rushing title. Can you believe he's never led the league in rushing? It's crazy. I mean, if you really think about it, Carolina used him to do everything. Catch the ball, run the ball. So I guess they didn't focus on running. He did everything. But he is closing in on his first rushing title, man. I love CMC. I think he'll get a touchdown. And Brandon Ayuk, the man who I said has to score touchdowns on a weekly basis because he wants to get paid like a top receiver. Ever since I said that, he scored a touchdown every week. Brandon Ayuk's getting his 73 yards at least. He's going to probably get 100 yards. He's going to get a touchdown, and he's breaking 1,000 yards for the second time this season. I got to get the graphic ready so we can post it because I'm ready for Brandon Ayuk to get another 1,000 yards. He'll get 100. He'll get a tutty. I think Kittle will have a decent game, maybe a red zone touchdown. I don't know. I think the 49ers are going to go cook it up. They're in Levi Stadium. It's cold out there, ladies and gentlemen, though. So, we'll see how they do in the cold. But I have the 49ers dropping 35 points on the Seattle, and I have Seattle scoring 17. I don't know if 17 is going to be what they score. They'll probably score less, but I have the 49ers going 35-17. 49ers are cooking. They are incredible. They are humming. Their team is pretty healthy. I know Arik Armstead's out, but they got some good players stepping up. I just think that there's too many injuries for the Seattle Seahawks. Kenneth Walker's banged up. Zach Charbonnet's banged up. Geno Smith's banged up. Call the police. The 49ers are going to murder the Seahawks 35-17. I can't wait. If you guys are there, say what's up. I love you guys. Man. C says last year took Ayuk 17 games to 1K yards. He stepped it up this season. He really has. He wants to get paid, see? He said this is the season he's going up. He wants to get paid. I'm hyped. You're hyped. Please, in the comments of this video, put your score. Put the score in the comments. Blow the video up. Put your comments in the comment section after the video is over. I want to say thank you to everybody tonight. Appreciate you. Shout out to the sponsor, Gold Bar Whiskey, baby. We love you too, Val. I love everybody on the chat. Shout out to Gold Bar Whiskey, the new official sponsor of RSF 49ers and the official whiskey of the San Francisco 49ers. I hope you guys have a good rest of your night. I'm signing off. I'm taking my daughter to Christmas in the park. I love you guys. Have a good night. Go Niners. Bang, bang, Nana gang. I truly, truly, truly appreciate all the support. I really do. Thank you guys for tuning in. Have a good night. Go Niners. Peace.